Jesse Kelly here. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a psychic, and I don't pretend to know what the financial markets will do in the future. I do know that putting all your eggs in one basket is not a good financial plan. I look for solid investment opportunities based on a long-term strategy for investment growth and protection against loss. My friends at Oxford Gold Group is who I sent my father to and who I trust for some of that protection. Now is the time to call the Oxford Gold Group and just hear what they have to say. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver with Oxford Gold is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Or you can buy precious metals and keep them in your safe. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals just like I do. Call Oxford Gold today and ask about exclusive free bonus opportunities. Call 833-901-COIN. 833-901-COIN. That's 833-901-COIN.
One of the things about Atlanta, second to New York and maybe San Francisco, there aren't, better cities for eating out. And the clip of new restaurants opening and closing and things going on, it is really hard to keep up. And Nashville, too.
Yeah, Nashville as well. And I think we borrow a lot from the ATL.
I think so. But let's bring our expert on, Caleb Spivak from What Now Atlanta. He's also got a bunch of other What Nows, but the one we're talking about now is Atlanta. Hey, good morning, Caleb.
Good morning. Good morning.
And I love the news you bring because you have got your little ears underneath the frying pans of all the restaurants and you know the scoop. So where do we even start? I've seen a bunch of restaurants shutting down in the last month.
You were talking about 99X being the OG. Well, the first official Chick-fil-A, which was at Greenbrier Mall for 56 years, is no more.
Wow.
Well, what I guess business that mall's kind of deteriorated over time, right?
Well, the mall's being redeveloped.
Oh, it is?
And that Chick-fil-A's been around since 1967.
What else has been closing, though?
So Ford Fry closed King and Duke, which has been in Buckhead for 10 years, which makes perfect sense because a lot of these restaurateurs are signing 5, 10, 15, or 20-year leases. And you know what? The landlords get a little greedy. At the end of those leases, they want to raise their rents. And so Ford Fry is moving out of that space.
And not going to come back anywhere else? It's just done? King and Duke is night-night?
King and Duke is night-night as far as we know. Ford Fry's been pretty quiet, hush-hush on the closure there. But the rumor is that Del Bar, which is a kind of Middle Eastern concept that's been taking Atlanta by storm, is going to be taking its place. Hard to say for sure, though, because the owner, Ferris Carter, he is not up for commenting on those plans. As a matter of fact, he's hung up on us a few times when we've tried to get some scoop from him.
Whoops.
But they do have a Buckhead location listed as coming soon on their website.
Well, Buckhead, what do they call it now? The whole area of Buckhead, what?
Yeah, Buckhead Village.
Yeah, Buckhead Village. They've been on a massive resurgence, haven't they? Why would King and Duke want to bail? Just the rent is that high?
That's a good question. There's a lot going on in Buckhead right now, especially after the whole reimagination of Phipps Plaza and Lenox Square over the years. Actually, a lot of tenants have been bouncing from Buckhead Village, which is now owned by Jamestown, for the new Phipps Plaza redevelopment. One of those tenants is Hermes, which is slated to open at Phipps in 2024.
Wow.
They currently have a location over at Buckhead Village.
I'm counting on Ford Fry, though, because he's such a staple in Atlanta.
Well, he's certainly not going anywhere, and he'll continue to open new restaurants. As a matter of fact, if I can share some big OTP news, the Toro Development Company, Mark Toro, you know Mark Toro, Steve.
Yeah, I've done a lot of shit. I did a lot of the original Avalon marketing video stuff out there.
Absolutely. Well, Toro and team, they are now in Johns Creek. They're opening a new development, a 43-acre mixed use called Medley, and they just announced 11 restaurants that will be opening as part of that development. And guess who's on the list? None other than Ford Fry himself with Little Ray, which currently has a location, ITP.
Yeah, I love Little Ray.
This will be the second location locally.
Caleb, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
I do follow you guys, What Now Atlanta, on Twitter. There's, this whole tiki craze. Any good tiki places, tiki-inspired places in Atlanta?
That's a good question. There had been one in Virginia Highland for some time that closed down. But there are plans for a new tiki bar concept that's slated for Avondale Estates' new Olive and Pine development called Night Owl Kitchen and Cocktail Bar. So that's going to provide tiki-style vibes to Avondale Estates. Likely later in the year, it's slated to open in the fall.
Very nice.
So what else? Any other big news? Because there's a lot. It seems to be a lot going.
Oh, there's a ton. So getting back to Toro Development Company's Medley project, some of the other highlights, kind of what to look out for at that project. Crew Food and Wine Bar, which has a location at Avalon Fidel Irish Pub, is also slated for that development, along with 8 other restaurant tenants that have been announced. And, you know, it's always exciting to see the restaurant lineup unveiled for these larger projects, especially because they're sizable. This is 43 acres, and the project was first announced in September 2022. So there's been a bit of a cliffhanger here waiting for that news. But in addition to the restaurants, there's going to be over 200,000 square feet of retail and entertainment concepts. There's 900 residential units. There's going to be a mix of townhomes and luxury multifamily homes. And then, of course, over 100,000 square feet of office space. So it's a pretty sizable project.
Where exactly is this? Because that's taking up a lot of space. Where is it?
This is on Johns Creek Parkway.
That is pretty big. It's hard to keep up with all these new openings. It's crazy.
There's also, looking back, ITP Oxton, kind of trailing on the food hall trend. The Piedmont Center is getting this Oxton food hall.
Oh, yeah.
And they just announced their first tenant, which is going to be Scofflaw Brewing Co. And that's slated to open in 2024. This will actually be the 4th tap room and brewery for Scofflaw. And they're going to have some signature brews and also some unique offerings that are only going to be at that location.
I'm all about the food halls.
You know that's the location of that huge true crime thing with Mark Barton. Remember that? Like in 1990, Fram, 1999 maybe?
Wow.
But you remember that? It was the day trader shootings.
Yes, and I was out of the country. I totally remember that.
That was right by 99X in our old building on Piedmont. So, Caleb, what now Atlanta? I heard they are hammering that whole Piedmont Center. They're going to flatten it, right? They're not keeping anything?
I don't know that they're going to flatten it. I don't know that would be the best use of their resources, but it's more of a redevelopment.
Yeah, redevelopment. Because those buildings, it looks like prisons. I mean, it looks like, they're not the most attractive buildings. I would think if they're going to be putting, apartments or multifamily or restaurants and all that, they've got to do it pretty and they're opening next year?
Well, this is going to continue to be an office project, but they're going to reimagine about 35,000 square feet of ground floor office space specifically into some local food and beverage concepts, kind of with Scofflaw there as the first tenant. That's right.
Okay, I thought they were starting completely over. That's been the same thing there for so long. It'll be interesting to see what they do. All right, Caleb Spivak, What Now Atlanta? Thank you for your intel, my friend.
Thank you.
Always my pleasure.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie.
99X.
25? Did you hear you could save up to 25% off grocery store prices at BJ's Wholesale Club?
Did you say save up to 25% at BJ's?
Yeah, save up to 25% at BJ's.
Whoa, that's like saving up to 1/4 of... Ugh, that's gonna leave a mark.
BJ's, absurdly simple savings. Shop today. Not a member? Go to bjs.com/simple savings.